Hey guys, and welcome to Victoria's Aquatic Adventures. Please excuse the fan in the back. It has been extremely hot in this house for February. But the main thing I wanted to do today is we're going to get out of the water and we are going to rustle up our feathers because I wanted to show you a big surprise. Pretty much, I wanted to show you the ins and outs of my birds. And when I say my birds, we're not going to talk about my parakeet. We're not going to talk about my conure, even though he's being loud in the background. We're actually going to talk about my quails. So I own, as of right now, I own 7 button quails. And when I first started this channel and was thinking about starting this channel, it was originally 5. And they are all kind of in different habitats. So I'm sitting on the floor right now to actually just kind of be stabilized because it's going to be easier to show you a few of my quails in this location. Just because it's also a little bit later, the dogs are inside, I don't want to drop anybody, and like things can be bad. I mean, everybody loves each other, but I mean there are dogs and I don't want any accidents. So for the safety of all animals involved, and that way I still have a total of 7 little button quails, we're just gonna do it this way, and that is Thomas. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so button quails are probably the smallest of the quail family. They literally will fit in the palm of your hand. I am going to show you some in just a minute, but they will fit in the palm of your hand. They lay about an egg a day, the hens, and then the little roos are actually, okay, Thomas, back off. And then the little roos are actually just, they actually make a little call sound first thing in the morning, just like kind of like a chicken. And they will fly. They will actually fly, so they can perch on smaller or shorter tree branches, kind of like a chicken. So you'll see them occasionally in a tree if you could. They do live around a relative water source, so it's actually kind of known, if you own these, that they cannot go without water for 24 hours, because if they do, they will perish. So they can't live without water. So it is important that they always have constant fresh water. So when I first acquired these birds, I got them at an exotic show, and I'm not here to bash anybody or anything, but the gentleman that sold them to me actually said that they were actually going to eat a parakeet food. And in my mind, every bird is different, just like every animal is different. So what does this mean? This means that you can't feed a quail a conure diet, and you can't feed a chicken a parakeet diet, and you can't feed a quail turkey diet. So I went upon myself to take it upon the web, and then that's when I started doing things. So needless to say, I have hatched 3 batches of quail eggs. 3. And I'm going to show you why the diet is so important in their breeding and just kind of their background and just their happier and healthier life. Okay, so let's get started, so you can see it. Okay, as I mentioned before, these guys can fly, and we have our ever so pleasant Tom Tom standing over all of us. So I'm not actually going to open their cage and show you the relative size of them. So right now I'm just going to kind of show you how small right now that I have their habitat in. I just kind of have them in a little breeding area. Eventually they're going to get upgraded, and they're going to move up, and then the other 2 that I have right now are going to move up, because I think I'm going to keep them together. So these are the original 3. So the white one that you see is my hen. That is Snap. The black one that is right next to her, this one right here, is Button. That is my sweetest brew ever. And I do have an off count right now, because that one back there in that background is actually another brew, and he's my dominant brew, and his name is Zip. So they all kind of have a sewing related name. As you can see back here in the back, those little things back in the back, is her little egg nest. Now I will pull these eggs. I don't pull them daily because right now I do not eat them. I'm just pull them when I clean out their hay and litter, which is something I will do tomorrow. But I pull them and then I will put them in an incubator. So probably starting within the next week or two, I'll actually pull these and start putting them in the fridge so that way we can start eating them and have fresh quail eggs. But my first idea was to get more hens because this is because this is a terrible ratio. Right now I have 2 roosts to 1 hen and they are running her ragged and I can hear it at night. So the first thing, what you see them pecking on right now is they, like all my animals, get a fresh piece of fruit or vegetable at night. They love their kale, they love their lettuce, they do like apple, it's not their favorite. They do not like green beans, and they like their zucchini, so they'll peck at their zucchini. They have some cuttle bone that they have snatched out. It looks like Zip is enjoying his crumble. That crumble is actually 18% game bird feed, and it is a crumble that I can keep them on from hatch to finish. So that they love that, I mean, that has been a great source of protein and to help them get healthier. Over here, as I said, they always need a constant source of fresh water. So this back there is just a nice little source of fresh water. I just added that little greenery in the back. It's not actually purposeful. They just like to sleep underneath it. It was just one of the things that I had left over from the reptiles when I changed them from their holding habitat over to their new vivariums. And as you can see, she's getting a little drink of water. I love them. They're so small. They just they make the sweetest noises. In the back right now, just to kind of up their protein, which is another thing I've done, I will feed them live wax worms. I will feed them live super worms, and then that right there is some dried mealworms because I have gotten lazy with the pain in my back. And so they enjoy those as a treat. They will oftentimes snatch them from each other, flick them around, eat them, and everything. And so these are the parents of all of them that I have. And so these birds like to take dust baths. So when I do a fresh cleaning tomorrow, what you can see, or what you will see at some point, I'm sure, what I'll show you is them rustling in their new fresh cedar. Is just them rustling and getting clean on a nice little dust bath. I'm still currently looking for a nice little dirt dust mixture that I can put in like a holding box or something so that way they can bathe regularly. I do let them out periodically so that way they can roam and everything. I have to keep a close eye on them because like most birds, they can't be around an open flame, they cannot be around open ceilings. You don't want to have something burning like the candle, no scent things, nothing of that sort that they can possibly get into. And they do fly, so all my aquariums are actually open lid. I only have one that is covered, and that's the one with my tiny little plethos on it because I don't want them to get out. So I have to keep a close eye on them. For the most part, if they're not scared, they will stay grounded. But if you scare them in any type of way, you'll just hear this nice little flutter and off they go. And then they're just they land, they hide, they're scared again. So that's just kind of how they are. But other than that, they keep to themselves. You'll hear like this little roo, this little croak. I hear a little like pew pew pew, pew pew pew, pew pew pew. That's the kind of like roo call. I will hear that periodically first thing in the morning, and I will also hear it sometimes in the night, or like if you're wet, my Pontiac starts speaking up and he starts yelling and fussing or just talking a lot, then at that point they will start to speak up too. They'll also tell you if something's going on in there, so you just gotta pay attention to your animals, because to know if something's going on, like if somebody dumped over the water for any reason, then all I have to know is if I look at them and they're sticking their heads out of the cage or anything, like this just happened the other day, then I just get up and I look at them, and like I think they had kicked so much hay into their water that it had soaked up the water. So just give them some fresh water and that's all. And so pretty much easily maintained. They don't really like to be handled that much. I can handle them, but as for the purpose of this video and the safety of my animals, since all of them right now are practically in this room, meaning the dogs, I won't. But so let's move on to the next, and I will show you the first batch. Okay guys, so these two are my first hatch button clothes. That one particular name was Zip. These were going out. He actually didn't close with all colors. There are two in here. It looks like, well, the one that's up walking or walking around right now is Islet. That is actually my room. He's made the call. And then the little purple one right there is Turn and Food. That is Quail. So they also, they just recently, within the past week, got moved over to a nice cedar bedding. Their mealworm cup is actually up top. Just because they have mealworms in there, they decided to bury them. But they too still have, their brooder box feeder, their brooder box water cup, and their heating mechanism. I do my brooders in an aquarium, just so that way they get used to seeing me, and that way I can handle them easier. These two are easier for me to pick up, but I mean, they still don't like to be handled as much. They hurt, they started the roots, and they just don't like it. So, when I was talking about diet and the importance of diet is because when I first started, these two are actually the only two eggs I have out of like 15. So, and I know some of that is from the temperature, and I still haven't yet to get it regulated. You can see Islet is still starting to get his bib. So, these guys are being early and good. And they're still small, as I don't know what. Like I said, that is a sliceless zucchini over there that we are preparing. He's still getting his bib. It's still beautiful as ever. The soft as I don't know what. And it's just sweet as really but the importance of tallow and the source of protein is that tallow back there, my little purple one, is one that actually has stuck in the egg. So they're usually up and hatched in about 30 minutes. That's up here. So they're usually up and hatched in about 30 minutes. So 30 minutes from a tip, they're out. They have rounded the corner and rounded an hour the egg. With him, I can only cook his egg, and then 30 minutes later, he was supposed to come in. So I actually had to hand open his egg and get him out. He talked to me that it took actually about 45 minutes of me to get to living my hands and everything, and then getting him out of his food. Or being current out of his food. I do believe she's a female. I have yet to hear her call. Like Islet over here, that is still walking around with a nice little black feathers on her bum, or on his bum. And Toggle is really, really needy, so she'll hang up underneath him, and just like you were watching. So, these are the two that will eventually move into the adult sheep pretty soon. It takes about 6 weeks for the male to become fully mature, and about 8 weeks for the female to become fully mature. So I'll just eventually keep moving on up. Lately we have moved off all of the coverings off the top of the glitter, so that way they're getting more and more, not just fresh air, but they're getting more and more of the room temperature regulation inside of their air, inside of their aquarium / food box. So this is the final aquarium. These little chicks are a day old. So that on the ground right there next to them or in the middle of them is actually just crumble. I usually try to crumble it up within their first day. I'll crumble up little pieces or kind of within their first 2 days, so that way they don't have to go far, because at the first time they're still trying to learn mobility. Um, these chicks so far have hatched perfectly. Okay, so these chicks so far have hatched perfectly. So this is what their eggs look like. So tiny little eggs, they pipped them and they have went all the way around, as you can see. And I have two of them just like this. They hatched at the same exact time. I came up and I saw them both in my little brooder, both in my little incubator house, just kind of freeing up themselves. So there's a few things in here that's set up differently. I set this up this way kind of for the first 2 weeks of their life. So they have their little crumble box, a feeder over in the corner. That is actually a peel top vial. Yes, that is how small these guys are. That is a peel top vial. Those are marbles, guys. Those are marbles. So I put marbles inside of it because they can actually drown themselves. They're still clumsy, still small, still learning. So what they'll do is they'll actually go to sleep, kind of just like fall where they stand. As you can see, he was up moving around, she was up moving around, and then she just kind of went to sleep. So they too have a piece of fleece that they like to sleep in. I also put that in there for their first kind of day, because their first day what they do is they'll burrow underneath it, even though I do have a light set on top of them. So I wanted to kind of show you just like the size of what we're working with. So this here is a marble. This is a regular little bead marble. This marble just barely fits inside the egg. Just barely. And this egg is that small. That is how small the egg is. So that guys is how small these chicks are. I can fit both of these in my palm. But the main point that I wanted to bring out to you about these quails, or these little babies, is their agility. These guys are moving around so much easier. They are finding their water. Okay, Thomas, back off. These guys are moving around so much easier. They're finding their water so much faster. They can flutter easily. They just pop, bounce, and they're so much more talkative than the first batch was. And I think it's a lot to do with like the health of them, their hair and everything. Even the second batch, their feathers came in fuller, their feathers came in faster, and my incubation and brooding has not changed, but what has changed is the parents' diet. So I'm gonna get them out, show them to you, because I can. He's fine. He's literally just flopped out. Like if we give it a second, he'll be up and moving in just a second. This is what I mean. It's hilarious because even the grown ones will do it. And he's up. I just wanted to see about catching that. And that, guys, is the importance of button quail. And I hope you have enjoyed what I have been able to show you. And I hope you've been able to find, hopefully, a new friend that you may get to love and be able to have. Listen to him peep.